Good evening. Welcome to the Maple Run Budget Informational Meeting. Sorry that we're delayed, but I'm Jeff Morrill and I'm the Maple Run Board Chair. Our board consists of 10 members and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but we have 4 seats that are open this town meeting day. Tonight, we're going to talk about Maple Run, describe it for people who don't know what Maple Run is. And then the good part of the meeting is I've got people from every building who are going to come up and describe what's going on in their areas. And then finally, I'll get into the budget and what you'll see on town meeting day on the ballot. So first of all, for those new to the area, Maple Run serves the communities of Fairfield, St. Albans City, and St. Albans Town. We have 5 schools, our high school, BFA St. Albans, along with our tech center, Northwest Career and Technical Center, and 3 pre-K through 8 schools, Fairfield Center School, St. Albans City School, and St. Albans Town Educational Center. We're also fortunate to have the Collins Pearly Sports Complex, which is considered one of the jewels of Franklin County, or so Tim always says. So now I'd like to welcome up my building representatives, and I think we start with BFA and Principal Brett Blanchard.
Good evening, I am Brett Blanchard, a proud principal of BFA. Just a few highlights. What we've been concentrating on this year is continuing to work on our proficiency-based grading, proficiency-based learning. So faculty have worked with the curriculum, and being in the pandemic with the hybrid, our teachers worked overtime to see that we had both online and in-person learning, and that meant that the whole summer was spent. So we put money into the Chromebooks as the whole district did. Really 2 major goals that we have. The first happens to be shared leadership at the high school. So I'm thrilled to have our department chairs, and we work closely with NCTC. So all of that shared leadership is going to make us stronger in the long run. And then making sure that student voice is first and foremost. And we're devising that even during a pandemic. So really look forward to next year where we can have a much more vibrant student voice. And really wanted to congratulate Nikki Hall for the Paraeducator of the Year. So very well done, and a real honor to have her here, continue to work with kids, showing up at 6:45 to make sure that we are healthy and safe. So congratulations, Nikki.
Thank you, Brett. And Nikki's a new grandmother too. Next up, Tim Vians, Collins Pearly Sports Complex.
Jeff, I do believe about 15 years ago, the supervisor union hired a man to do a study of the whole union, and he referred to the Collins Pearly as a diamond.
There you go.
Yes, it's a diamond. So anyways, Collins Pearly wore many hats this year. Athletic facility, home to the Comets, the Bob Whites, we're a surge unit. Thank God they never used it, but we were there. We're now a vaccine pod. We're doing 300, 600 vaccinations a day, a week. And we closed for a while, then we opened back up in June. Social distancing, as you can see, our spin bikes are safely spaced. And again, we stayed open through the dedication of our staff and our community, following protocol, adapting as we go. I'm just proud of all the different, we've been food drops, food distribution center. We're just everything for the community, and it makes me proud to be up there. And I hope we're all proud of the Collins Pearly. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. I'm not sure who's up next, or I would give you a hint. There we go. Gotcha.
Sorry about that, Jeff.
I'll probably get fired over that. And next up, we have Dr. Heather Odell from Fairfield Center School.
Thank you. I wanted to highlight a little bit about how school is still normal for our kids during a pandemic. Everything seems a little bit abnormal right now, but there are a lot of things that we've tried to do to keep education going forward. And one of them is our athletics. We have been able, with the other schools in the district and throughout the state, to have some athletic seasons. We had soccer and cross country in the fall, and basketball is going on now. And though those things look a little bit different than they normally would, it is nice to see the kids getting active and moving around. We didn't get to go on a field trip last year. We study the watershed at the Black Creek, Black Creek, just lost the words, but we normally take a canoe trip out there, and we didn't get to in the spring. So we took our 7th graders out this fall, a little social distancing and some masks, and we were able to get out canoeing. Of course, one of the best parts of being a student in Vermont in the winter is sledding, and we've got these awesome inner tubes. Saks actually had them first. We got a grant and bought a bunch of them, and our kids are enjoying going outside at recess and going down the hill behind our school, right behind our new arts wing. So we are really happy that we were able to open our arts wing, which contains a new art room, a new music room with great acoustical panels, and a group intervention room for small group instruction. And it has been really well received in the community. It has moved us out of the historic common school, which is good for our kids and good for our community. So thank you.
Just to be clear, it's an arts wing, not an art swing, but. No, you're fine. St. Albans City School, Joan Cavallo.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm Joan Cavallo. I'm the principal at St. Albans City School. So I just have to say how proud we are of our entire school community. Our teachers and our staff, our students and our families have just totally come together to make this all work this year. And the best part is we're really finding joy. We're not just doing it, we're enjoying doing it, which is just amazing. We're creating new traditions because we can't have all the old ones we used to have. And as we're doing that, what we're seeing is that the mechanics of school are different. They just are. But learning and relationships are as strong as ever, and in some ways even stronger. So this has been a crazy year, but in so many years, we've learned things we never would have learned if we didn't have to go through this all together. So we're just a thank you, and we're really proud to be part of this.
Thanks, John. And I'm guessing Angela will be next. Angela Stebbins, St. Albans Town Educational Center.
The long way around. Thank you, Jeff. Nice to see everyone this evening. I'm Angela Stebbins, the principal of St. Albans Town Educational Center. And to highlight a few things that both the other pre-K 8 principals said, we've tried to keep some things as similar as we can, while recognizing running a school during the pandemic has had its challenges. I can't thank enough the entire staff at SATEC. They have been amazing, pulling together and being very creative to support our students, and appreciate the support of our families as well. And a couple of things that have been a little bit different. You can see here, we've had some, especially in the fall, some wonderful outdoor unified arts classes, taking advantage of tents we had up and outdoor artwork. And also some fun projects inside. You know, it's nice when you have the kids in person to do a lot of those hands-on activities. So it's an example here of the students in 2nd grade, they're doing some of their writing skills, but kind of down on the floor. And they also did a lot of work around like creating their own bird feeders and just trying to be unique. A couple of things that were the same as we still had our Red Ribbon Week this fall, which is supporting healthy choices and drug-free choices. And that went through the whole entire school. And back in December, we also participated and we supported the local community by bringing in many canned food, non-perishable food items for Operation Happiness. So those are some things that we normally do. And even though it was a little bit more challenging, we still kept that going. So again, just very proud of our school and being part of Maple Run and what everyone's done together to be safe and successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And now we have Leanne Wright with the Northwest Career and Technical Center.
Good evening. As Jeff said, I am Leanne Wright, Director of the Northwest Career and Technical Center. And we were happy to open up our school doors 4 days a week to our students in early November. And that's in partnership with our two sending high schools, BFA and MVU, helping kids navigate getting to school 4 days a week was a little bit of a challenge, but we were able to make it work as a result of their partnership. Because we were there for 4 days, we were able to continue to offer industry recognized credentials and our dual enrollment in all of our classes. And the job shadows and the work-based learning has been a little challenging, but we were able to bring in a lot of the business and industry through our Zoom University or through our Google Meets. So really happy to have our partners in our community that can bring in their work and show kids what it's like to work outside of the school. We have stakeholders in our community. They guide us on what they expect for our students regarding business and industry. So we're preparing our students to work in our community, and they guide us and make sure that we know what it is we need to educate them on. So the hope is when students go off to college that they come back and work in our community. And then of course we have our adults education, our career development center for adults that want to come back and hone in their skills. And we have a comprehensive website with a list of community classes for our area folks to take. And again, I want to thank our students and our faculty for making every effort to have our in-person for 4 days a week.
Thank you, Leanne. That was the good part. Now I get the part that's not as exciting. So I'd like to go over the budget that we're presenting to you at this town meeting day. We're presenting a budget of $61,861,212. That's a 2.29% increase over last year on the expense side. And then our per pupil spending amount is now $17,086, which results in a 3.56% increase over last year. These numbers are important because these are the numbers that you'll see on the ballot. This chart is exactly the same as last year, or pretty darn close. And basically what it tells us is that education is driven by people. 75% of our budget is in wages and benefits. And that means that when we get an increase in an area that affects personnel, we feel it. I think that's it for that. Now, this is a more detailed breakout by like educational area. I can't go over there, I guess. The top 6 or 7 items are all what we would call regular ed, which is about 70% of our budget. And then we have special education, which is another 25% of our budget. And finally, the tech center is 5% of our budget. So this is the really tough part, the educational formula. We start out with what our expense budget is at the top. We subtract local revenues, which are grant funds, tuition from sending schools, et cetera. And then we end up with $43,481,199 that we need to get from the state education fund. We divide that number by our equalized pupil count, and that's not our number of students, but it's our number of equalized pupils. So every student is weighted differently. And we come up with our education spending per equalized pupil, which I mentioned earlier is just over $17,000. We divide that by a magic number called the yield, which is set by the legislature, and that tells us what our property tax rate is going to be. And this time it's $1.50, a little over $1.50. Now, The next line is our tax, Act 46 tax incentive. So we started out with a 10-cent tax incentive, and it's been going down by 2 cents every year. We're now in the last year of that. So this is the last time we'll have our tax rate reduced by anything due to the Act 46 incentive. And so that's 2 cents less. And that leaves us with a tax rate of $1.48. Now, I got to tell you, basically everything except for the expense budget is estimated, because it really all depends on what the legislature does with the yields. I mean, they've already changed it twice since December 1st. So it's possible that they're going to change it again when they finally set it. The next thing that messes with your education tax is called CLA, or Common Level of Appraisal. And this is how the state tries to make sure that every community is paying the same amount into the education fund, because their homes could be assessed at different levels of recentness. So when we take our tax rate of $1.48 and adjust it in St. Albans City for with a CLA of 89%, we come out with a new tax rate of $1.66. If your CLA is below 100, that's going to increase your tax rate, because that means the assessed value of your house is not as high as what the state believes it should be. In St. Albans Town, we see that go, their CLA has dipped below 100 for the first time in quite a while. And so 95% CLA changes their tax rate to $1.56. And in Fairfield Town, their CLA of just over 87% raises their tax rate to $1.69. And so at the bottom here, we have the breakout for each community. St. Albans City looks like their increase will be about 2 cents. St. Albans Town will be about 11 cents on the tax rate, and Fairfield about 6 cents on the tax rate. This is a new chart that we added this year. I've got this for each community, and the two bars on the left-hand side are going to be the same for every community. The 0.25 or 1/4 cent is the effect that the increase in our budget has on the tax rate. The 2 cents is the loss. We got 4 cents off as an incentive last year. This year, we only get 2 cents off. So that 2 cents represents that. Both of those numbers are increasing the tax rate. And the final column is the CLA. And in St. Albans City, their CLA actually went up, which is not usual, from 88.9 last year to 89.2 this year, which results in a reduction of 1/3 penny. Now in St. Albans Town, again, we get the same bars on the left. The change in the budget only adds 1/4 cent. The reduction in the incentive adds 2 cents. And then the CLA adjustment, because the town finally went below 100, is almost 9.5 cents. And finally, for Fairfield, the same information, and their CLA adjustment will cause an increase in tax of 4%. 4 cents, excuse me. In this chart here, we put in here to show back in FY17, we had 3 different tax rates. We were 3 different school districts, and we voted on 3 different budgets. FY18 was the first year of the merger. We got a tax incentive of 10 cents, and our tax rate went down to $1.38. Now, 5 years later, we see that our tax rate, as the incentive ends, is right back where it was when we started. You know, if you can read those numbers, that was when we started, it was between $1.42 and $1.46. And now our tax rate's at $1.48. So that's pretty impressive, considering that we've had 5 years of inflation and rising wages. Now, I just have some examples of for you for a sample $200,000 house, what this new tax rate will mean. So in St. Albans City, we estimate an increase of $39. In St. Albans Town, $234. and in Fairfield, $129. And that last column tells you how much of this increase came from the CLA. So from this assessed value that the state figures out what's causing the increase. And you can see the majority of it is from the CLA. Now to go over the ballot items. Article 1 and 2, you see this the same way every year. We have Anna Borden running again for clerk and Amanda Forbes running for treasurer. They both do great jobs. Article 3 is for the 4 open seats in the city, Fairfield, and the town. So there's one opening in the town, which is Stephen LaRosa decided not to run again. And there are 2 people running for that position. In St. Albans City, there are actually 3 people running for 2 positions. One of them is my positions, which I'm not running for, and the other is for Neil DeGanella French. And then in Fairfield, there's 1 position that's open, and Susan Cassavant is running for re-election. I would encourage you, I would say that the incumbents that are running for re-election, I would encourage you. They've done a great job. I don't know about anybody else, but. So Article 4, shall the legal voters of the Maple Run Unified School District authorize the Board of Directors to borrow money not in excess of anticipated revenue for the school year? So this is on the ballot every year. This would allow us to borrow money if there's a delay in getting money from the state education fund, like during a pandemic. But so we ask you to authorize to do this, but we haven't done it for the last few years, even though we were authorized to do so. This is just something that we want to have in our pocket in case we need to borrow money, which keeps us from getting like late payment fees. In the past, when there was a decent tax rate, we could actually make some money, but not anymore. Okay, Article 5 is for the Capital Improvement Fund. Shall the voters of Maple Run Unified School District authorize the Board of Directors to transfer the audited general fund balance of the current fiscal year to a capital reserve fund to be used for capital improvements and operations of the Maple Run Unified School District? This is something that we really would like to do. We've done it every year that Maple Run's been in existence, and it gives us some flexibility when things come up where you need a new roof somewhere. Last year the case was Fairfield. We paid for Fairfield out of the Capital Improvement Fund. We use it for big projects, small projects, but it helps us keep the budget from going up and down. The other option is that the money rolls into the next school year, and then once that money is gone, even if your budget stays the same, all of a sudden your tax rate takes a big jump. Article 6, this is the big one. Shall the legal voters of Maple Run Unified School District approve the Board of Directors to expend $61,861,212, which is the amount that the board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021. It is estimated that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in education spending of $17,086 per equalized pupil. This projected spending per equalized pupil is 3.56% higher than spending for the current year. The board firmly believes that this is a good budget. The increase is actually within the rate of inflation for 2020. So we certainly hope that you will support it. And finally, for voting, this is all the normal information. I saw a message from the city clerk yesterday that said people could still call and get absentee ballots. The town, you should already have your ballot because the town mailed ballots to all residents, but you can still vote in person if you'd like at the normal polling places. And there they are. I guess I jumped ahead a little bit. And that's it. Are you looking for questions out there, Bill, or?
Yes, I was gonna.
I have my tech team hard at work.
So yeah, if anyone wanted to submit questions right now, Jeff, they could. I don't see any in the chat.
Nilda usually tries to get me with something, which wouldn't be that hard. But Martha, did I miss anything? Did I say anything wrong?
No, you did a perfect job.
Okay.
What are we gonna do without you?
Oh, you'll figure it out. Okay, well, I guess we're set then. So thank you very much. Please do your duty and vote. Thank you.